So for step 24, attaching the rear dampers. Well, you can see that we've got these BB1 screws. They go into these BC11 gold pipes, go through the shock to a washer, and then go into the roll cage. And then at the bottom, same sort of thing, but we've got a BA3 gold pipe, washer, and then into the rear trailing arm. And then, of course, we've got our BA1 screws that are going to be used to screw on the tail lights. And then we'll be repetitive on the other side. So here are all of the hardware items that we need to complete this step. And then, of course, our shocks and lights from the previous step. So I'll set this up and we'll put it together. So let's grab our chassis here and let's grab one of our shocks. So we can see here that we're going to need, let's see if we get this right, the BB1. So this is the bigger screw. We're going to need a BC11 gold piping. So there we go. That's going to slide through there. That's also going to slide through the top of the shock, just like that. And then on the other side, there is a washer. So we're going to put that washer on just like that. And then it's going to go inside of this hole right here. And it's going to get screwed into one of the lock nuts that we need. So there is our lock nut. I'm going to put this, let's make sure you can see what I'm doing here, on the other side. And I might even use the box wrench for this just to, yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. And then we'll grab our screwdriver. And we'll screw this in. We'll just screw it in all the way. Make sure that that is sitting correct. Yes. We'll go back here. And there is a little bit of play still, but you can only go to really to the end of, yeah, there we go. Because obviously you can see that in terms of screwing it in, the gold tubing is going to stop it. So there's going to be a little bit of play here because the screw can't go past that metal tubing. So that part is done. So now on the bottom, we're going to use one of those BA3 screws. And again, we're going to go into a gold tube. It's going to go into the bottom of the shock, and then we're going to have a washer on the other side before it's screwed in. So if I bring this closer here, we've got this going into the shock. Then, if you can see, I'll try to do this so you can see it here. We've got our washer, which needs to go on the other side. So essentially it's looking like that. And now we're going to need to compress it a bit here in order for that to fit onto our trailing arm. So I just got to get that in the right place. Trying to stop the I'm trying to stop it from doing that. Well, I managed to find everything again. Everything just went flying, so we'll start this over again. So again, we need to put this in. Let's see if I can get this so you can see this a bit better. That's got to go in, and then we have the washer on the other side, which is right there. And I've got to be able to hold this level now so that we can get it into the trailing arm. And maybe what I'll do actually is I think I'm going to do this from the bottom. Because I think that's going to be easier to see what I'm dealing with. So let's grab that washer again. There we go. And we know that this has to be screwed into the hole that's on the trailing arm. And you're going to have to compress it. There we go. Now if I get that into the hole, which it's there, hold this down, grab the screwdriver, now I'm just going to make sure that that is going in correctly, which it is. So we'll hold this and screw this all the way in. And I can feel that is at the end. Yep. And it's going into the hard plastic, so once the screw's in, it should actually sit nice. But there we go. There is one of our rear shocks in place. Definitely an interesting design. But it feels pretty good. It's maybe a little stiff, but still nice. Okay, so let's do the other side. So again, we're back to the longer BB1 screws. We've got to go through the gold tube. It's got to go into the top of the shock, just like that. And then we have a washer on the other side, just like that. And then this is going to slide through the top of there. And on the other side, which I will use the box wrench, we'll put in one of our little lock nuts. And as you can see on that side, if I hold that just like that, more or less, grab the other side, and we can screw this into the lock nut. And just keep turning until you get to the end, because the brass tube is basically going to be your stopping point. There we go. So that's on nice and solid. So let's do this again. We're going to grab our BA3. And we're going to put the gold tube on there. That's going to go into our shock. And again, we're going to flip this over because I found this a lot easier doing it this way. And we're going to grab our washer. That's going to go onto the other side just like that. And again, because of the way this is designed, you're going to need to push this down so that it fits into the hole. There we go. And now we can start screwing this into the hole. And make sure that that actually is, yep, correct. And I'll screw this in all the way. And again, remember, it's going into the hard plastic, so when it gets to the end, you'll know. And I'm just going to do an extra little turn, but it really is at the end. Very cool. So you can see from underneath, that's our shocks. Very, very cool. I quite like the design of this one. They feel good. They're maybe a little stiff, but they feel good. So, what do we got left? Well, we've got to put on our lights. So you can see here that the lights actually are sitting on the inside. So the screw's going through and into it from the side. So, let's grab our screwdriver. Make sure that's going in correctly and level. Not quite yet, so let's just make sure that that is. Do an adjustment. Yeah, looks correct. So we'll just continue screwing this in. All the way. And there we go. And because this is a regular screw going into the plastic, I'm not over tightening it because you could end up stripping that out. So I just want to make sure it's tight, but not too tight. But there you go. There is one of our rear lights in place. So we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to stick that through and that one through there. Just like that. And let's screw this in. Make sure that that's going into it level, which is not quite. So let's just do an adjustment. Now that looks correct. It's going in level all the way, so I don't mind screwing it all the way now. Because you don't want the screw going in sideways, because then it's not going to go in all the way. But you can make adjustments on the fly in a sense, just the way that's designed, so. There we go. Now I've noticed there's a little bit of play, just because of the way that that piece that we sandwiched in between the two pieces of plastic, there's a little play. But that's probably good, because that means that there, you know, if this has a rollover or something, there is a little bit of give so that the light doesn't just break right off. But that feels pretty good. So there are our taillights and shocks. Very, very cool. I like this. So that means that step 24 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 25 and start putting together the wheels.